All right. Hello. My name is Ayana Myers, and I will be your social worker today. We got a call regarding your kids from an anonymous source. So I just came as a precaution to kind of check up on you guys, see how everything's going, ask a couple questions. I just want to make sure that your children, Aaron and Amber, are safe and that they have what they need. Everything you tell me is confidential, and it will not be shared with anyone else unless it seems to be harmful to you or anyone around you. Like I said, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, take a couple notes if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. So I just want to start by asking where the children are right now.
So the children are currently staying with my mother-in-law. Um, so Jeff's mom and Elise, they're staying with her. They stayed with her after the phone call. Um, and they still go to school and everything. She lives about an hour away, so she's
Okay,
taking them to school.
awesome, awesome. And do you talk to them regularly while they're there or, check in on them?
Yeah, I call them every night after school, just to check and see how they're doing, if they've done their homework and stuff like that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Have either of them been hurt recently or complained about not feeling safe?
Um, so I haven't gotten any complaints from her teachers or her herself. She seems to be doing okay. However, Aaron the teacher said that he got bullied at school, but when I talked to him about it, he doesn't want to talk about it to me. He says that everything's fine. I'm just concerned about that.
Okay, okay. I will definitely get some feedback from that from the teachers at the school and see what the situation is there. Um and can you tell me a little bit about like the day-to-day life in your family or your house?
When the children were here, usually I lost my job, so I would stay at home and wait for the kids to get home. And the father, Jeff, he would work. He'd be our breadwinner and bring home our money and stuff and our food for me to cook for them. Usually, I don't really cook that often because I've been a little bit depressed, so that's kind of why I turned to the drugs in the first place. But I would get them fast food, or if we could afford it, I would cook something. If I had the time to cook something, I would. I make sure that they do their homework for the most part. Um, Sometimes I sleep in the afternoons, so I don't watch them in the afternoons. So they kind of just run amok.
Okay, okay. And as of right now, is everything on like plumbing, electricity, food, things like that? Do we have that in the house right now?
The electricity is on for this month. The plumbing is also on for this month, but the 2 months prior, they were not on. There were some issues with that. But I got with another social worker and they told me that they could get me some vouchers for that. So we have that working for us. As far as food, we kind of need some more resources regarding the food, especially for the children, um, because they're growing up and they need more. And sometimes I notice that they'll be hungry, but they're afraid to ask for more food because they know that we can't afford it.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. I will definitely look into some resources for you guys and send those your direction, and we can kind of figure that situation out for, as well. So
Okay.
as far as the feeding and the bathing and the supervising go, you said that you're typically home with them during the day. Does your husband Jeff help out any with that?
Um, he's not really present emotionally. After he gets off work, he claims that he's so tired and he sits in the living room and he chugs a couple of beers and then he goes to sleep.
Okay, okay. And how long have your kids been with your mother-in-law?
Um, about like 2 weeks now, I think.
Okay. And are you awaiting when are you planning for them to come back to the house, to your house?
Hopefully when I have whenever I get like a secure food source or I probably need some help finding a job too, because Jeff's income enough is not enough money. So when I am able to provide a safe home for them that they can have clothes and food, and when I'm able to afford therapy or rehab for my drug issue, I haven't taken drugs since the incident, since the call, but I just want to make sure that I don't relapse or anything.
Yes, ma'am, I totally understand. And as far as the kids go, do they like play with kids in the neighborhood? Do they hang out at a neighbor's house? Anything like that?
Um, they do hang out with kids in the neighborhood. Yes, they do. But since they're with their mother-in-law, I'm not sure. She lives in kind of a gated community, so they don't really have a lot of younger children over there. They have more children where we are, so they kind of just stay in the house all day.
Okay, okay. And have any of the neighbors around you shared any concerns with you about the kids or, voiced any concerns they might have?
Yes, one of our neighbors did voice some concerns regarding Aaron's clothes because she noticed that there were holes in his clothes and she was wondering about that. And he asked her for food one time, and he was scared that he was going to tell Jeff because he thought that he was going to yell at him for asking for food. So
Mhm.
she did share that with me. Yes.
Okay. And does your husband often yell at the kids?
Yes, it's kind of on and off. Sometimes he's really nice, and then other times he just starts screaming his head off.
Okay. And has it ever led to any physical altercations between you two or even the kids?
No, just verbal hashings.
Okay. And have you guys seen anyone about this? Couples therapy, anything like that?
I actually wanted to go to couples therapy, but Jeff never wants to go to therapy or anything. He just sits in his chair all day with his beers after work.
Okay, okay. And I remember you mentioned that you currently are not working. So are the kids like on their are on Mr. Jeff's insurance? Do they see the doctors regularly, do routine checkups, things like that?
Yes, they go through his insurance to receive doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, eye checkups, all of that. Those are all up to date. I usually take them to their appointments. They have missed a couple ever since my depression arose from me losing my job, but prior to that, they have been going regularly to the doctor.
Okay, awesome, wonderful. And I know you have mentioned a little bit of substance use. Um, so I heard about the alcohol, and you said that you're no longer using the drugs.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And you're seeing help for that? You're seeing someone for that?
I am, but that was when I was on my job's insurance, but they can no longer cover it. So I'm gonna need to find another rehab source that I can afford.
Okay, and is Mr. Jeff interested in rehabilitation or?
I I don't think he is, no.
Okay, awesome. All right, wonderful. We will make note of that. And do the children watch these activities or does he do it like in a private place?
No, he does it in the open. They see him drink, they see him put the needle in his arm with the drugs. When I did the drugs, I tried to hide it from them because I knew that it was very traumatizing for them to see, and I couldn't really stop it, but I wanted to stop them from seeing as much as I could. He just doesn't care.
Okay, and are these drugs out of sight or out of reach for the kids, or do they have like access to this?
At the time they were out in the open because they were right like on our kitchen counter, so they could have easily just taken it.
Okay, and are they locked away now?
Yes, they're locked away.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Um, okay. And I did talk to um Aaron before. And he had mentioned some concerns with me about his like food and things like that, like we had talked about previously.
Hmm.
So I will of course look into some food pantries and things like that to help out with that issue. And he did mention the yelling and things like that. So I will try to to schedule a meeting with Jeff and see if we can work some things out and maybe do a little session with Mr. Jeff and Aaron, sort of see what the disconnect is there, if that's okay with those two. Um, and then your son did mention um, some some other issues that we'll talk to him further about. And then hopefully we can set up a meeting to talk with your daughter, Amber, and see if we can see how she's doing with some things. I know you said that she's not really open to talking about a lot of issues, but we'll see if we can get some, information, see how she's doing, kind of do a little check-in, talk to some of her teachers at school, see if there's anything we can help her with, so that we can make sure your kids are in your house with you and you guys are running smoothly in the house. Do you have any other, questions, concerns for me?
No, I don't think I have any questions.
Okay, awesome. So I just want to thank you so much for being honest with me today. My next steps are going to be to review the information you shared, and determine, what support or safety plan we might need for Aaron and Amber, and of course to get you those resources, see what we can figure out on that matter. Um, and then if that, if you don't have any questions or concerns, that is all I have for you today.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you, and I will look forward to meeting with you again.